Hey, what's going on, guys? Supply Plays here, back with another video. And today I'm going to show you guys my top 5 tips on Overwatch. Let's get right into it. For the first tip that I got for you guys today will be adjusting your settings. Before you try to play, as soon as you get the game, or after, just adjust your settings to fit what you like. Like, just try to fit what you like into the settings. Like, for example, you can change sensitivity. As you can see, you can change the reticle. I will make a separate video on that because this is a pretty good topic. But yeah, the reticle, you can change it. Mine, I use a dot and a green color. It's pretty good. You guys can try it out, and you can also switch all the settings for each individual hero depending on how they play. So it'll take some time to get used to what settings work best for you, but just keep adjusting them until you find the perfect fit. Okay, for the second tip, we have practicing business AI. I know this is the most boring part of it, and it's something that most of us don't do. I barely do it, but when I did do it, it really helped a lot for me to improve with certain heroes. So I would just jump into a AI game and just practice around if I was you guys. It would really help. Just every time you want to use a new hero before going into a quick match, or by the time being a ranked game or whatever. So just go in there, practice his abilities, understand them, his movements. And for example, Genji is a great example of how I learned them. Tip number 3 will be knowing your melee damage. This fits into the tip number 2, but I'll try to make it into a separate one because nobody uses their melee. For whatever reason, they think it's too weak to use. They'd rather reload and keep shooting. But certain situations, your melee can finish the person off and could save you. So I really recommend using your melee. AI is a good way to practice and knowing how much damage your melee does overall. So I really recommend it, so you guys can get right into that. Okay, for tip number 4, we got hero swapping. What I mean by hero swapping is knowing when to swap your hero to fit a certain situation, but not swapping too much, because sometimes that brings inconsistency to the game, and sometimes it gets confusing and you don't know what to do, and you just keep swapping thinking that you're just doing bad with a certain hero. The more you play the game, the more you'll know which heroes work best in what situation. But swapping your hero like 10 times a game, that's not good. So you get out of that habit. Try to get into a habit of just using certain heroes for certain situations, and if your team needs a tank or something, then switch into that tank. Okay, so just know what works best to counter the other team and to help your team win. That's just probably my favorite tip out of the 5 that I'm about to give you guys today, because a lot of my friends, they swap a lot, even including me. I swap a lot of heroes every time I'm doing bad. But sticking to 1-2 heroes per match, even 1 per match if that's what your team needs. Just always fit the situation, okay? And for the last tip that we got over here, we're gonna go into tip number 5, is play the objective. Okay, this is a major key, okay? Playing the objective is something that most people that I play with, like randoms, they don't do. They can get 500 kills, it doesn't matter. 500 eliminations, it doesn't matter. They will not push that payload. They will not capture that point. So it's pointless, you know. If you're not going to win the game, whatever you do is pointless. So you have to always play for the win, okay? If you want a lot of eliminations, the best way to do it is to play the objective. Why? Because the enemy team is going to be defending that objective. So that's where they're going to be. So if you want to get the most eliminations, just do that. If you're like a flanker and stuff, I understand why you're not exactly on top of the payload or this and that. Like, you're doing your thing in the back. But for my tanks and other people, even if flankers, sometimes you have to push the payload. You have to play for the objective. That's the only way to win the games. So I really recommend doing that and just trying your best to do that for just team's sake and for your own sake. That's pretty much it, though. That's all the tips I got for beginners. I'm gonna start dropping some hero guys if you like really enjoy the Overwatch videos. 2K beaters are still gonna come out. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate the support and all the comments. Drop a comment if you like with some tips. Thank you so much. Supply Play signing out.